A super asked question on the channel, folks, is what are my likes and dislikes about the SNOWDOG Sport. Now, this is the 2022 model, and now I've owned the SNOWDOG Compact 7 horsepower. So this is my second SNOWDOG. I was working with SNOWDOG the last 2 years, but not this year. So I'm going to go over the likes and dislikes of the SNOWDOG. Now, some of these are personal preference. Some of these are all you snowmobile folks and ATVers will be like, I told you so, I told you so. You should go spend 15 grand on a brand snowmobile. And I'm not going to do that. And I'm guiding with it this year. So I'm going to put a little more work into it this year, or a little more abuse into it this year by far. But let me go over the likes first. And you guys love these style videos, and I do too, because it kind of like breaks down what's good, what's bad, and would I still use it, obviously. So one of my biggest likes about the SNOWDOG is that it's super light. It's only 330 pounds, basically naked. So what's extra on here is the SNOWDOG bag, the ion, and the box, and obviously the live scope, but that's how I have mine set up. But basically you can lift this thing like really easy. It's only 330 pounds. That is one of the biggest likes. I remember having my first snowmobile, which is an Arctic Cat Wildcat 700 from like 1996. It weighs as much as a small car. I'm not a super strong guy. I can't lift that if it gets stuck. I have to wait for a groomer to get me out one time. This, you can get yourself unstuck pretty easy. It also has reverse. So that's another really great feature over the Compact that I used to have. So the reverse is number 2 that I really like. Number 3 is it is super compact. This stayed in my garage all summer long, and I never really noticed it was there. This handlebar folds up when I don't have all the stuff jazzed on there, obviously. Super compact. You can actually put this into the sled, and 2 grown guys, or really strong peoples, can lift this thing up and put it in the back of an SUV. I've seen people put them in the back of Subaru Foresters or Super Outbacks, or someone who just had one with a Ford Explorer with the seats folded down. I was just helping them. So that's number 3, is I really like. Number 4 is the really like, is everything on this motor is super low tech. You have basically a kind of a go-kart snowmobile clutch here, go-kart snowmobile clutch here. The only thing that's really interesting is the reverse thing. All this stuff is made in Russia. This is not made in the US. This was before they moved to the US. And Briggs & Stratton, I think is, I don't know if this is actually made in the US or not. I'm guessing it is. You can work on basically the whole motor with standard, and then the issue, I'll start to go over the dislikes here in a second. Some of this stuff is metric and not easy to find. So some of the stuff is actually like the frame is standard from SNOWDOG. You can't just buy that off, you know, on Amazon. So easy to work on. I've upgraded the light as well. So the normal headlight is garbage. Not garbage, it's just not bright enough to really rip super fast at night. Another huge like is it's kind of a head turner, and it's really great for someone who's just out by themselves. If you're towing a bunch of people out, you got a big group of people that come out with you all the time, go get the Skidoo 900 with the turbo and the big track and the studs, and like use something that has, you know, a lot of horsepower to get people out in the ice, to get through slush, get through snow, get that kind of stuff. This is not for that. This is kind of like just run and gun, go by yourself. I put 20 miles on this one day. I actually carry an extra gas tank, as you can see on that side. That's what I like about it. I go out by myself most of the time. It's during the week. I film my videos for you guys, of course. Now let's go over the dislikes. Now there's quite a few dislikes. This thing has tried to kill me a couple of times. One, because this is just like a normal bicycle throttle cable. If you pinch it over here, it gets stuck on full throttle when you are trying to start it. Now they always say run your kill switch, which is here, and they also say to run your leash. I had mine in reverse, and it says never start it in reverse because it'll run you straight over, which is what happened to me, which is my fault. Also, this is not a SNOWDOG problem, but it's kind of a Briggs & Stratton ice fishing problem. This is the governor here, which I'm sure you could disable. People do that with like Harbor Freight motors and stuff. You can go for the day, and what happens is powder snow gets stuck in the engine cowling here, and it's great and it's fine all day, but you leave it at night, this thing will freeze wide open. You'll start it up and the SNOWDOG will just take off in a never land. Luckily, mine was also in reverse. That's when it tried to kill me. So that's a big issue. I don't know how they would fix that. Maybe a dual return cable, like where you have a throttle, twist throttle or something like that, where it's push and pull at the same time, not just a pull. So you can crank that thing off or somehow shield the governor from getting snow in there. They do a good job with the cowling and stuff like that, but that still happened to me. Another big dislike is it is fairly tippy until you learn how to ride it. So you have to, I'm a motorcycle person, jet ski person, like the old school jet skis you can stand up. You have to ride it and you have to carve it like a motorcycle. You have to lean with it. You have to use the throttle to get in and out of situations. Whereas a snowmobile, you can just kind of go slow and the skis kind of support you. You actually have to treat this like a motorcycle, which you'll tip it over a lot before you figure that out, which is what I did. Now, another big dislike is they say to stud the track if you have glare ice, which is what I use it on most of the time. This is like the perfect amount of snow for the SNOWDOG, about 2 inches of little fluff, and then ice underneath. Is what's going to happen. I'm going to show this actually upside down here, or sideways, I think, is these studs right here that you can see, my finger, actually will expand and eat away the frame when your track gets filled full of slush. So just like most things, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, ATVs do not like slush. This thing does not like slush even more. What happens is it has the power, it gets stuck in slush, the track swells up and the studs rip through the frame, and you're basically stuck there until you can use a claw hammer or something like that to get the slush out of the track. So I actually had to cut the frame members out, take the whole SNOWDOG apart, cut the frame apart, get new metal, have someone weld it back in, repaint the whole frame, and now this is the first maiden voyage this year. So that's 2 years in. That was a big to-do. I needed to use it for guiding this year, so I needed to do it. That's a huge thing. It does not like slush. What you can do is just try to avoid slush as much as possible, or what you can do is wait till there's snow on the ice and don't run studs, and then you won't have that issue really. So that's a big dislike. As far as other dislikes, it's not really much. I mean, if you are going 10 to 20 miles on it a day like I do, riding in the sled the way that it is, standing up in the standing position, your back will be shorter at the end of the day. Just the vibration of just slamming on the ice is really uncomfortable. What you can do is get one of those foam pads that you see people put in their tents, stand on that, or you can buy the seat, which I also have, and that'll be a little more comfortable. So it's a lot of likes, a lot of dislikes. Would I recommend it to people? 100% yes. If you don't want to get into an old beater snowmobile, which I was just talking to someone about, an old snowmobile that is going to have sometimes hard to find parts. If you don't want to do that, or you don't want to spend 10 to 15 grand on snowmobiles, I'm probably like the second snowmobile device on the ice this season, and this is way more ice than I need for the SNOWDOG. I've been on 2 inches of ice with this thing by accident, which if I had a full sled I would have gone through. So that's another that's another like that I put in there. It is way lighter than most machines out there, so I'd still recommend it for folks. This is not a sponsored video, just putting that out there. A lot of likes, dislikes, a lot of quirks about it as well. If you want to tinker with things, if you want to have a device that's just turnkey, I would suggest going with a snowmobile. If you don't mind doing your own work, your own oil changes and stuff like that, you don't mind getting your hands dirty, get a SNOWDOG and put it in the back of your car or your truck. And mine stays in my truck all year. Like literally never comes out, doesn't go on a trailer, stays in the back. Another dislike, it does not like road salt, just like most things. I've had to do a bunch of rust maintenance on this since I've owned it. So grinding down and repainting and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, and I'll leave the link for SNOWDOG below.